Las Vegas has always been about illusion. The lights, the money, the fantasy that the city never loses. But behind that glow, something is breaking. Beneath the billion-dollar billboards and packed casinos, the numbers don't add up anymore. Tourism is slowing, corporate debt is rising. And for the first time in decades, the city that built itself on winning is running out of cash. Executives call it a temporary slowdown.
But insiders say otherwise.
They're calling it a quiet collapse, a slow-motion crisis hidden behind record profits and fake smiles. The truth? Vegas isn't just struggling, it's bleeding. And no one wants to admit it. So tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the financial illusion keeping this city alive, how it started, who's behind it, and what happens when the house finally can't afford to pay. This is Decay Report. And this is the story Vegas doesn't want you to hear. Vegas doesn't like to talk about money, not real money at least. It sells the dream of endless cash, endless winners, endless growth. But look closer, and you'll see the cracks behind the neon.
Because the truth is simple, Vegas is in debt.
And not just a little. Billions of dollars in corporate loans, unpaid infrastructure projects, and empty promises line this city like hidden landmines. Casinos are making record revenues, yes, but not record profits. They're borrowing against the illusion of growth, feeding a cycle that can't sustain itself forever. It's not just gamblers who are losing anymore, it's the city itself. To understand how Vegas got here, you have to rewind. After the pandemic, the Strip came roaring back. The numbers were insane. Hotel rates up 60%, casinos packed, new resorts breaking ground. Investors called it a comeback story. But behind the celebration, something was off. While tourists returned, their spending didn't. They stayed shorter, they gambled less, they drank less. The middle-class visitors, the real foundation of Vegas, were disappearing, and the city didn't adapt.
Instead, it doubled down.
Casinos started raising prices on everything. Resort fees, parking, drinks, food. Even the slot machines were quietly adjusted, higher house edges, fewer payouts. It worked for a while, profits looked strong on paper, but what they really created was resentment.
Vegas stopped feeling like a playground and started feeling like a scam.
And that's where the trouble began. Behind the scenes, corporate giants like Caesars and MGM began refinancing their debt. Billions of dollars borrowed to keep shareholders happy. Interest rates climbed, operating costs exploded, and the Strip's glimmering towers turned into fragile investments built on borrowed time. It's the same story playing out everywhere. When the money stops flowing, you don't fix the system, you rebrand it. Vegas calls it modernization. But what it really means is distraction. New projects pop up every year. The Sphere, new resorts, Formula One, massive concerts, each one promising to save the city's economy, and each one sinking it deeper into debt. The Sphere alone cost over $2.3 billion. It's stunning, a technological marvel, but it hasn't turned a profit. Ticket sales can't keep up with costs. And the companies behind it are scrambling to convince investors it was worth it. The same pattern repeats across the Strip. Corporate ownership has replaced local control. Decisions are made by executives who don't live here, they just extract. They treat the city like a slot machine itself. Pull the lever, hope for a return, move on when it doesn't hit. Meanwhile, the people who actually live here, the workers, the dealers, the service staff, are feeling the real collapse. Wages haven't moved. Housing costs are up 70% in a decade. And most of the new luxury development isn't built for locals. It's built for investors who will never set foot inside. Vegas has always been about illusion. But this time, the illusion isn't just for the tourists. It's for the books. The city is quietly bleeding cash. Property taxes are stagnant, infrastructure is aging, and with every flashy event and half-finished mega project, the bills keep stacking higher. What's holding it all together? Hope and marketing. The marketing machine of Las Vegas is the most powerful in the world. It convinces millions that the party never ends, that there's still magic left in the desert. And as long as that illusion holds, investors keep spending and the cycle keeps spinning. But illusions can't pay debt, and the cracks are spreading. Look closer, hotel occupancy is slipping. Midweek numbers are down, convention bookings are dropping, and even the Strip's biggest players are quietly selling assets to stay liquid.
Behind the lights, there's panic.
Corporate insiders are cutting costs wherever they can. Layoffs, automation, fewer comps, fewer benefits. And they're blaming changing consumer habits. But the truth is simpler.
Vegas priced itself out of its own audience.
The people who used to come here for fun can't afford to anymore. And the ultra-rich don't come for Vegas. They build their own playgrounds elsewhere. So what happens when the middle disappears? Vegas loses its core. Because without the everyday dreamer, the worker, the gambler, the traveler, there is no Vegas. And yet, the city keeps pretending. It keeps building, keeps borrowing, keeps betting that the next big thing will fix the last big mistake. It's the same pattern that built Vegas in the first place, except now the odds are worse. A few insiders are sounding the alarm. They say the city's growth model is unsustainable, that it's relying on credit and hype to stay alive, that one sharp downturn, one global shock could bring it all crashing down. And if that happens, the impact won't just hit the casinos. It'll hit the workers, the housing market, the entire regional economy, because Las Vegas isn't just entertainment, it's an ecosystem. And ecosystems collapse quietly, then suddenly. That's why this story matters. Not because Vegas is unique, but because it's a preview. A glimpse into what happens when a city built on optimism runs out of luck and refuses to admit it.
The Strip still shines every night, like nothing's wrong.
But once you see the cracks, you can't unsee them. Empty tables, cheaper lights, quiet nights. A city fighting to keep the illusion alive just a little longer.
Vegas isn't dead.
But it's not alive in the way it used to be. It's suspended, trapped between its past glory and its uncertain future. And if you listen closely, under the noise of slot machines and nightclub bass, you can hear something new. It's not the sound of celebration. It's the sound of strain. Because when a city built on endless winning starts to lose, it doesn't go bankrupt overnight.
It slowly forgets how to dream.
Las Vegas has always sold itself as invincible, a place where money never stops moving and the lights never go out. But now, the illusion is flickering. The city that taught the world how to dream has forgotten how to sustain one. It's addicted to the same thing it sells: risk. Borrow, build, pretend, repeat. And eventually, every gamble runs out of luck. Vegas won't fall in a single moment. It will fade quietly, one closed casino, one empty convention, one investor walking away at a time. And when it does, the rest of the world should pay attention. Because what's happening here isn't just a Vegas story. It's a warning about every system that mistakes growth for strength. If you want to see what collapse really looks like, stay with us. Subscribe to Decay Report and help us expose the stories the billboards won't show.
More cities, more truth.
The lights are dimming. We're just here to report it first. This is Decay Report.